What's going on today, Internet? Selfish here with Retrospect, and this right here, this in my hands is not a Miyoo Mini Plus. Even though it kind of looks like a Miyoo Mini Plus, this is a Miyoo Mini Plus. This right here is the R33S, and we are going to take a look at this clone and see how it stacks up. Come along for the ride. Every once in a while, I'm really looking forward to checking out an unconventional handheld, and this is the episode for that, or one of the episodes for that. First off, I want to give a shout out to DeadFred from Retro Gaming with DeadFred. He saw that I was having a hard time finding one of these, and I don't know what it is in our market. I know there's some issues with AliExpress in this device and some other things, but the distributors we typically see carrying consoles from this manufacturer currently are not carrying it, so I was having a hard time finding one. Since it has popped up on Amazon for $80, which for a clone seems a little ridiculous, but we're going to get into all of that here. First off, this boxing might look familiar to you with some of the other devices that we've looked at here in the past. It does have a gaming chip in it, which is great to see. We have seen a couple devices made by this manufacturer, mostly the R35S and the R36S. Now we have the R33S, and they are kind of moving backward, but not really. The Miyoo Mini Plus is still one of the most popular handhelds out there, so they are going after this market, which seems pretty smart. As I said, you're going to have a hard time finding one of these devices. I'm actually kind of surprised it just popped up on Amazon, but let's take a look and see what we got inside. Now, if you were to order a Miyoo Mini, they're pretty good. It's going to come inside of a case instead of packaging, depending on where you get it from. But we've got this. So here's our device. And inside of here, we do get a charging cable. And yes, that is USB Type-C. We do have an R33S manual, interestingly enough. This device does run on ArkOS, which is an operating system I'm pretty familiar with. Between the last couple clones these guys have made, as well as running it on my RG353V, I am pretty happy with ArkOS, actually. It's a really good operating system. It's not quite the same as Onion, but it doesn't need to be because you have a different processor. So here is our device. It is stunningly similar looking to the Miyoo Mini Plus. Like, the purples are different. Now, this is really odd because I always thought Miyoo had like the best purple. And I know this is the same purple they used on the R36S, but I've always made fun of Ambernick for having too light of a purple, and now this makes it look like Miyoo has too light of a purple. By example, if you put an Ambernick device in here, Ambernick calls that purple. This is what they think purple is. Obviously, there's really no comparison here, but then you pull out this device and it's like, whoa, that is really purple. Atomic purple, not so much. There's nothing atomic about this. This is like, oh crap, we just mixed a little purple in the mix. And we're just going to keep making every handset that color. So these are strikingly similar when you look at them from the outside. It is just crazy. First, we're going to take off the screen cover here for you. Let's see if it's satisfying. I hit the microphone, so that probably screwed the whole thing up. Here, let's try it again. There you go. We did it twice. Oh, it looks so much better without a screen cover on it, because that screen cover was falling off. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Let's take a look at the I/O like we always do. We'll start at the top, which is just a power button. Good spot for a power button. Looks nice. Fancy power button. On the back here, we do have our triggers. Left and right, they did raise the middle ones here on the R2 and L2 buttons. One thing about these triggers is they are very stiff and very loud. Inside here, we do have a 3200 milliamp battery. It is removable, similar to the Miyoo Mini Plus. I'm just seeing in here, this is version 10 of this board. R33S V10. Insane. September 8th, 2023. R33S V10. My understanding is this is just a remake of the R36S board. A weird way to run that battery cable. You would think that it would go this way. This is the way it was. We're just going to put it back in there that way. Back door looks almost the same as a Miyoo Mini. Even has these little groovy things in there. Cool. All right, so there's the back of your device. On the bottom here, interestingly enough, we do have an OTG port and a charging/OTG port, as well as a 355 headphone jack. Love me some headphone jacks. Didn't come with headphones. Didn't come with those cheap-ass, Apple knockoff headphones. Weird. On the left side here, we do have our volume up and down buttons, as well as a memory card slot. I don't know the order of these memory cards. I'm assuming this is our gaming card that's stuck in here. Let's see what we got. Oh, good. It's a 33ZJ.
What's a ZJ?
If you have to ask, big man. You can't afford it.
That doesn't tell me anything. I'm going to assume that means that it's for the R33. What do we got on this side? Well, we'll go to this side for the I/O anyways. On this side, the only I/O that you have is a micro SD hole, and I'm assuming this one's for the operating system. And this one is a 35S, so probably running the same OS off the R35S. I'm assuming. I guess I don't know for sure. On the front here, we do have a 3.5-inch IPS display. It's 640 by 480. We do have our face buttons. Our D-pad, interestingly enough, is it has a lot of travel to actually pivot and hit the buttons, and it's slow to respond. So we'll see how that goes with some games. Sometimes these are really good with racing games, not so much some other things. There's no pivot because there's so much room that it needs to travel that D-pad's not going anywhere. Instead of a menu button like you would have on the normal Miyoo Mini, on here we do have a reset button. We also have a status LED indicator in here and stuff on the top. We do have our face buttons, which are okay. I mean, they're face buttons. They have a decent travel. They actually feel better than the D-pad. I don't know if they have a different membrane. I'd almost swap it if they do. These seem to travel a little bit better, but maybe that's just because it is a face button and not a D-pad. And we do have our start and select, which are also clicky on here. Let's fire it up and see what we got going on. Like I said, this will be on ArkOS, and while this thing is loading up, ArkOS tends to take a little bit longer. We will go through the specs of the device. A couple of these I just mentioned, but we'll run through them anyways. So this is running ArkOS 2.0 with EmulationStation as a front end. It has an RK3326 at 1.5 gigahertz on a quad-core processor, 1 gigabyte of DDR3L RAM, dual micro SD cards, OS and ROM obviously, 3.5 high resolution, 640 by 480 IPS display, 3200 milliamp batteries, which should give you about 4 to 6 hours. It does do Type-C charging. It does have an OTG port that it says you can use for Wi-Fi. I don't believe them. It hasn't worked on any of these devices yet, but we will give it a shot. And that's about all I got for you as far as the specs go. As you can see, it's still loading. There we go. So this is your typical ArkOS setup. So if we go in here, we do have info for the device. We can change our brightness. We're sitting at 60% right now. Actually, not a lot of difference between 60 and 100, but that screen seems to be able to get bright enough. It's gonna wash it out. Okay, never mind. We will leave it at about 75% for this video here. UI settings, you can change your themes and things like that. So the stock theme that actually does come on ArkOS is typically this one. I'm guessing the screen is the wrong resolution, so this isn't gonna work. Let's just go into our options menu. It's usually the best place to tell. There we go. Yep, you can't see the bottom row. So right now we're selecting Wi-Fi. You can't see it though. It doesn't matter. It doesn't exist. So let's go back in here. Just hit start. Get in your UI settings. We'll go back into this one. Sure, why not? So you have sound, game collection settings. Obviously anything that you'd normally see in ArkOS. Under your advanced, you can change time zones. You go 12-hour format, things like that. It'd be really hard to do some of these things that are in here because it doesn't have the capability, but they are built into the OS. So instead of dumbing down the OS or taking out the things that aren't supposed to be in here, they have just left everything in here. Looks like we are running on EmulationStation version 2.1. 0.2.2. In here, we'll go through some systems. So we do have PSP minis, but we do not have PSP, which is strange, I think. To me, that just seems odd. But it does run plenty of systems. It says the top 5 emulators. So what do we got? We got Arcade. So these are Capcom 1 through 3. We have MAME 03, Atmosphere Wave, PC Engine, Famicom, Super Famicom, NES, Super NES. So same thing over and over again. Nintendo DS, which is interesting because this is just added to Onion OS on the beta build, I believe. I don't think it's on the official one yet, but Drastic would be the developer behind, I'm sure, the ability to do that on here, which I don't know how you would do without a menu button. You wouldn't be able to change anything. Drastic doesn't have a start select option to get into the menus, so I guess we'll check that out. Dreamcast, also going to be a difficult one. Now, this is a 3326, so yes, it can play some higher end systems than the original Miyoo Mini, but you don't have a joystick. So Dreamcast without a joystick, is, unless you're going to play tennis, is going to be pretty tricky. There's not a ton of Dreamcast games that don't use a joystick. Maybe that's why we only get 17 games. If they're smart, though, they're not going to have something like, I don't know, Sonic in here, because Sonic needs a joystick for like Sonic Adventures 2. You would need a joystick to even get down the hill on the first map. So if that's in here, they didn't scrub this list very well. We got Game Gear, 263 games, totally fine because Game Gear didn't have the joystick. Neo Geo and Sony PlayStation, 35 games. I mean, you can play a little over half the PlayStation library without a joystick, so it's good to see that PlayStation is on here. You probably could have got away with some N64, I'm assuming, with 3326. Maybe not great N64. There are some other systems that will work with this processor. If you want to see it myself, and everybody else that does these reviews has done it on about 30 other devices in 2023. Seems like about 2/3 of everything that's coming out rocked a 3326. But this will be my first 3326 review of 2024. So yay! I will start off with Arcade here real quick. We're just going to play a couple minutes, a couple games, just to kind of knock through this stuff, kind of see how it performs. I mean, you would expect Arcade to work well. So Arcade looks like it is scrubbed, which is nice. We have the images. I'm really hoping that every system is like this, where it has most or all of the art, some of the art, any of the art would be great. Ooh, Altered Beast. This seems like it's taking a really long time to load. I should go grab my watch, because... Oh, guess we're not playing our Altered Beast. Alright. So many arcade games. It's crazy. What is this? B-Rap Boys? Heck yeah. Let's see if this one loads up, or if it takes a long time. Or what have not. Whew. Now we're cooking with fire. Oh, it's still trying to load. Never mind. Oh, while you're waiting, you might as well go get yourself a snack. All right, insert coins. What is this game? I honestly don't know what this game is. Oh yeah, this D-pad sucks. It's so delayed. We'll try some other games out, but you won't even need a contra test for this. Because yes, you won't get that, but you're not going to get false inputs, but you're also not going to be able to get the inputs that you want. Why am I on a bicycle? I don't understand. Everybody else has roller skates. I want roller skates. That seems more versatile. Ooh, you could do a stoppie. Woo! Give me back my bicycle. Oh, now I'm on roller skates. Sweet. I don't know. I don't know about this game. It's an interesting one. These guys are throwing band equipment at me. Oh no, I lost my bike. I'm not super impressed by the D-pad yet, but let's find out what happened. Oh yeah, I don't have a menu button. Okay. Oh, good. I remember when you're in ArkOS to go to quit instead of shut down, or is it will turn off the device. That is a weird thing with ArkOS. Quit is not at the bottom of RetroArch. Let's try out another system, shall we? Let's go Ninja Turtles. I like that it favorited a bunch of games for me right away. Sweet. This move that you can do in every Turtles game so that you don't have to, I don't even know what they call it, but just so you don't have to, it's like a jump kick. That way you don't ever have to get hit with anything. You can literally just jump kick the whole time. It's not working. It's not hitting the diagonal. Really, I'm out? That's probably why though, because you can kind of almost cheat in Turtle games where you... Yeah, there's one. So you can get this diagonal kick, but it's not real consistent. This is what I was talking about. So sometimes, like, you can pass the contra test and still have a really crappy D-pad. This D-pad is not good. You know, to be fair, I usually kind of do that cheat thing where I'm doing the drop kick or whatever, jump drop kick. What the hell? Why is it not working? There we go. This processor should be able to play a lot, though. All right, let's check something else out and see what else we got going on here. We're now playing a little Neo Drift here on Neo Geo. And this is, again, the same thing. So if you're playing an actual racing game, this actually would probably be really good the way this D-pad is set up, because you almost want a little delay so you don't overcorrect. But on here, it's too delayed. So you're already on to your next move before you even make a move. And this whole game is drifting, so it's kind of difficult when you're not turning when you're supposed to. This should be a good example. Yeah, so it takes too long for it to come back, to recover. That's the best I can describe it. I don't know. It reminds me of, like, if you have an old D-pad on a controller that you've had for the last 15 years, and it's just your favorite controller, and you've just never gone in and replaced the membrane on it, and, like, you can play on it because it's your controller and you know all the ins and outs, but your buddies can't play on it because they don't know, or you're playing on your buddies. Maybe it would be better because then you could know the feel, but they can play it because they know all the ins and outs. That's what this feels like. Could you get used to it? Probably. It's really slow though. Like, the recovery on this thing is absolutely like that. It doesn't input fast enough, and it's very slow to recover. I seriously lost match 3? Huh. Alright, let's try out another game here real quick. There is another trick to quitting games in RetroArch when you're playing in ArkOS, and that is just a select start start. You gotta do it sequentially, so you just go select start and it will quit. So if you don't want to go on the RetroArch menu and screw around, how long is this game going to take to load? So these devices are really set up so that you just pull them out if you only got a couple minutes while you're in line, play a quick match of something, put them back in your pocket. With this 3326, I've never seen a 3326 load this slowly. But once you're in, it seems fine. I was just going to show you what I was talking about before. You're not going to be able to play games like Sonic without a joystick, and I'll show you why. Even if you remap it, it won't change, because then it's going to remap it for everything, and then you won't be able to get through the menus. Also, if you see this granular pixelation we got going on here, that's not supposed to be there. I can't make the corner. So it looks like he's sparking the whole time. I guess we'll just bounce off stuff. I was going to say, that was the first time I haven't crashed in that first section, but that's because I just went straight. So that gives you a good example of what that's going to be. Let's get ready to race. All right, we're going to try out a little crazy taxi here. I forget that it starts in reverse. We're going to church. So this is running okay. It's a little slow. I wish that we had a counter up, but it's kind of hard to tell in crazy taxi, and everything seems to be running fine. So get out of here. Everything seems to be running fine, so it's, the fact that it's running slow isn't that big of a deal. It looks pretty clean. If you play this enough, you kind of know that this is slow. We're definitely not making it to our destination. So this isn't running full frame. This is probably running about 15 frames slow, maybe? I don't know. It's not too bad, though. Again, this is one of those games where it doesn't really matter if it's running slow, as long as the picture isn't going to crap. The game feels fine. It's playable, I guess, in my opinion. So I just want to take a quick look at this right now. And honestly, there's a lot of things that this has going for it. There is some speedy processing when it comes to actually playing games. Not a fan of the D-pad yet, but I'm going to play with it some more and see if I can't get used to it. It just seems so hard to explain, but it, like I said, it feels like one of those D-pads that maybe you got used to. I mean, like it's real soft in there, and it's got a really slow delay. So I'm going to carry it around here for a week instead of my Miyoo Mini, which is normally in my pocket, and see what I can't come up with to it, and we'll do another follow-up video. I do like the idea of the faster processor. I think that part's good. I don't like the fact that there's not a menu button here. That's really throwing me off. But if I had never owned a Miyoo Mini before, I don't know if that would be a problem, because I wouldn't accidentally hit reset if that was always a reset button. So that might not be an issue. I'm obviously going to have to upgrade these memory cards or change them out, because you have no-name memory cards out there that at least tell you how many gigs are on them. And then you have these. So we're going to have to take a look. Now that I'm thinking about it, it says it has 64 gigs on the box, and I'm going to guess that the 33 and 35 would be 64, right? Math. Anyways, the other thing that I kind of want to see if it wakes my wife up at night, because this will be a no-go for me right away, is these buttons, man. Like, I'm not trying to do a comparison video quite yet, and we will do one eventually here, but, so that's a Miyoo Mini, and... like, could you imagine if you were, like, laying next to your significant other playing video games and, like, yeah, like, this might even be a little bit, but when then you switch and then they're like, what the hell is that? Sounds like you're doing Morse code anytime you use the back buttons. Fortunately, with these handhelds, you're probably not going to be using these buttons much anyways, unless you're really going to get hardcore into PS1 on here and maybe a little bit of GBA. You're probably not going to use these buttons a whole lot. It's kind of a non-issue for the most part. I do like the raise on them, though. So Miyoo has a raise, and it works well, but this has a little bit more significant of a raise, and so I think that that part might be better. You can actually feel, when you're driving, it actually feels better as far as you can differentiate between them. So there is a big bonus there. Also, I just think that there should be just a ton of things that we can do with this that I'm just not touching right now because this is a first impression video. But again, I'm going to play with it for like a week. We're going to see if the speaker's better. That would be an easy upgrade from there. Obviously, the rumble motor, we'll see if that's any better. They look almost identical. We'll just start throwing shit. They look almost identical if you look on here. They're obviously in the same spot. This blue light's going to drive me nuts, but I think that there's a way to turn off that light, if I remember right, in ArkOS. If not, I guess it'll be on, but I think I can turn that off just because that's staring you in the face the whole time to tell you it's on. It is kind of weird being on top too because you don't really notice it, but when it's right here, if you're in a dark room, clicking your buttons, try not to wake somebody up. On top of that, you're going to have a light shining in your face. It's kind of distracting, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, they did a really good job making it look just like a Miyoo Mini. The quality-wise, it's more quality than you'd think you get on a clone, which is really cool. I mean, they even got it down to the grates on the back here, and then they were able to add, obviously, an extra memory card slot because they are using the board out of the R33. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty solid. It feels good, especially for a device that's a copycat. I'm really hoping that it's just a couple of games that don't load fast. Wow, look at that thing, man. It's all over the place. There's no reason to have a faster chip in here and have it take twice as long as a Miyoo Mini to load a game. Both of them are technically running custom firmware. But we'll go through here, we'll play with some settings, we'll see what we can come up with, and we'll circle back around. If you have any questions, or if you have anything you want me to test, leave it down there in the comment section. Just let me know if there's anything on here that you want to test, or if you're really interested in getting this device. So again, a big thank you to Retro Gaming with DeadFred. He hooked it up, man. He saw that I was looking for one and shot me an email, and literally the same day or the next day he sent it out to me. So thank you again, sir. I do appreciate it. As I said to him, this is how you can tell how crazy and cool this community is everybody's got each other's back, and that's pretty freaking awesome. That's all I got for you today. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, because your mom shares my videos, and you know that's kind of embarrassing for you. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Bye. Chasing stars and holding you. Hey, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. You either enjoyed the video or you got distracted and you're just coming back now going, oh crap, I'm still on this video. Either way, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Maybe there'll be something else that you want to see, and that way it'll alert you. Also, there's a couple videos over here on the side that YouTube says that you're going to like, and YouTube's never wrong. So click on one of those. Do us both a favor. Anyways, that's all I got for you today. I'm out.